All right, we're not even gonna do the intro. We're just gonna get right to it. It's I've needed a couple of days or a day or so to gather my thoughts for this, but let's just start with the fact that in the whole entire second half of Game 7, and mind you, anyone that's watching this for the first time, I've been a die-hard, and I mean die-hard, watch every game Clipper fan for 15 years. I've been at Staples Center over 100 times. I went to the majority of Chris and Blake's home playoff games with the Clippers. And that whole second half of Game 7, I could tell you what was going to happen. You guys heard my last episode. I could see a choke from a mile away. Sadly, I'm experienced in seeing them. And for them to literally, and I'm not even going to call them us anymore, for them, because I don't want any, they may be losers, but I ain't no loser because I support them. I supported a team that I fell in love with when I was 7. What I clearly, from seeing that second half, so predictable, the same thing happening over and over again, where you cannot buy a bucket as if there's a fucking hex on the basket that couldn't let us score. Now, you know what? It does feel like we're cursed. It feels like every time we're so close to getting across the second round finish line, like literally making it out of the second round feels harder than climbing Mount Everest or jumping the Grand Canyon for us. I'm sorry, for them. It's ridiculous. You see what's happening. You know, and even a finals MVP came and started missing. Is it sad that I think that that finals MVP would have made shots on a different team? It's pretty sick that I think that way. That it's really possible that could have happened on another team, that he could have made shots. The same story 3 games in a row? Let's start with who's to blame. Glenn Rivers. Because I don't understand how you got the nickname Doc, okay? You don't even know how to do fucking CPR because you can't stop your players from choking all the time. You're such an idiot. You need to get out of this city now. And Ballmer, you're equally at fault if you don't get rid of him. 7 years of the same bullshit. 7 years. 3-1 leads blown from the same coach. That's almost 25% of all 3-1 leads blown in the history of the league. And 2 of them have been on our watch. In the exact same thing every time. There's a new team, and we thought there was a whole new mentality. So did I. New team with Kawhi Leonard. And it's the same tendencies from Lob City. No adjustments, no chemistry in terms of on the court. The team completely gets by on talent over and over again, and he constantly makes excuses. You know, you will not. I saw a report and the adjustments. You know, Montrez in against Jokic constantly. How many times did we see it against Boban? How many times did I say that? Zubac, who's been our second best player in the entire playoffs, played, like 5 minutes in the second half of Game 7 because Trez is having a good game? When is it time to pull Lou Williams out when he's not making shots? Because we know he's a liability on defense. When is it time to tell Paul George to fucking relax and give Kawhi the ball? You make no adjustments. And I swear to God, if the franchise doesn't make adjustments and get rid of him, you are going to get nothing from the fans. I am not going to spend a single cent on the Clippers anymore. I'm not going to spend a fucking cent if you don't fire him. And you know what? I will spend a cent. I'm going to spend a cent buying a ticket right outside the bench, and I'm going to scream. I'm going to bring a sign. I'm going to make sure I get, I'm willing to get kicked out and get a restraining order from Staples Center, a stadium I love so much, because that's how badly I want to get this idiot out of our city. 7 years. We always talk about who's the best team of all time. You know who the best team of all time is? The '08 Celtics, because they were able to get over the obstacles that this idiot had to make them go through. I don't know. And let's stop milking that '08 title. You beat a Hawks team in 7 games, and you beat a Laker team in the finals with no starting center. Bynum was injured the whole playoffs, and you barely beat them. You beat him in whatever. You suck. That '08 Celtics team is all the team and has nothing to do with that idiot. And if Steve Ballmer doesn't fire him, then Steve Ballmer doesn't want to see this franchise succeed. You're not going to fool the fans into thinking that everything's going to change next year. We're going to run it back with a new squad. No. You cannot fool us into that. You're going to take money from us. You can't fool us into thinking it's going to change. He needs to go. The same thing. You think just because we have a new team personnel-wise that it's a different mentality? It's the same shit from 5 years ago, from 6 years ago. It's the same shit. And let's go to Kawhi Leonard, or should I say Quit Leonard, because he quit on the entire franchise. You know, I thought July 5th was the second best day of my life because we got this Kawhi Leonard. And all season long, he was great, except for the fact that he load managed. And I said, you know what? I don't like it, but it's okay because in the playoffs, he's going to be the best player in the NBA. What the hell was that? There's one thing to not play well, but there's another thing to act like you do not give a single fuck about this team, about the franchise, and more importantly, the fans, who none of you acknowledged throughout the entire run. You think just because we're not there, we're not watching on TV? You think you're bigger than the organization? I've been here for 15 years. How long have you? How long have you quit, Leonard? Because you fucking quit. Chris Paul never did that. He never just laid over like that. In Game 7 against Utah is the furthest you can go, maybe. And he didn't have Blake Griffin on the team. He had DJ, JJ Redick, and a trash-ass squad without Blake playing. And Chris Paul always said, Clipper Nation, this for you. We're going to bring it home for Clipper fans. He bled the red, white, and blue. Even LeBron, who I have all my problems with, consistently in this run, has said, we're just trying to put on for Laker Nation. We're just trying to build the legacy. Kawhi Leonard has nothing to say. And you completely lost all respect from me. I don't like anybody on this team anymore. You let us down. You don't give a shit about us. You don't, because look at the misery we had to go through. I lost fucking pounds in the last 2 weeks because I don't eat when I get nervous because of you idiots. I literally lost pounds. I cannot care this much anymore. It's not worth it. It's not worth it to care this much anymore. You ruined me. I used to be the optimistic kid that was like, when the Clippers were so bad, like literally so bad, signing D-League players. I used to say, oh, well, you know, we're just a couple games below 500. We could get there, maybe sneak in the 8th spot. That optimistic little kid. Even in Lob City, oh, we can run it back next year. It's okay. We'll bounce back. We'll come back stronger. Enough's enough. I can't do it anymore. You've ruined me. You've ruined my positivity. There's no excuse for this. All you guys wanted to talk, and now I'm the one getting ridiculed. And I'm not even playing. And you know what? It would have been better if I was playing, because at least I would have gotten ejected, made a statement on the court. You idiots didn't look like you cared. And Kawhi Leonard, I had you like speaking up like you were the best player in the NBA, and that's what you do? You know, where's I'm going to chuck us out of the game. I'm going to put this game in my hands. I saw what you did in Toronto against Philly in Game 7. You shot 39 times. You had this mentality like, I'm going to go down swinging. Where was that? You ready to go home? And then avoid all your problems so you don't have social media? And all he has to say after the game, at least he doesn't make excuses, but all he has to say is, we're going to leave it out on the floor. What was that, leaving it out on the floor? You left it in the hotel room. Kawhi Leonard, Quit Leonard. I'm going to call you Quit Leonard. And sorry, Clipper fans, no. If you get mad at me for being negative, there's no more of that. Because you've either not been a fan as long as me, and God bless you if you have been a fan longer than me to have this much patience. Because I do not. And I will never be positive for this team again. I will never be optimistic for them again. And I'm never going to say they're going to win anything. Because they're never going to make it out of the second round unless at least Glenn Rivers goes. And Kawhi Leonard, you know, the first season we had Lob City, it was a positive season. We made it to the playoffs, and we made it to the second round. We hadn't gotten there in years. This was a failure. So I have no reason to like Kawhi. I don't care that he came. And I gotta stop calling him Kawhi. It's Quit Leonard now. And I have his jersey, that shit's hanging in the closet until you get us out of the second round. Until then, I do not fuck with you. I don't fuck with you. Just because you're on the Clippers doesn't mean I gotta like you. I like I like the team, the franchise. It's part of who I am. You guys fucking suck. And you know who's even the worst of them all? Paul George. I never liked him. I thought he was a choker in Oklahoma City these last 2 years. The only reason I was happy we signed him is because we got Kawhi. And all season I've been skeptical of this guy, and I've had to hear from Clipper fans, it was his shoulders. It was his shoulders. Really? Where were the excuses? My shoulder's feeling really good now going into this bubble. It's very clear. I can see an unconfident player from a mile away. He has the confidence and mental stability of a 13-year-old girl. He worries more about his Instagram comments than his basketball. Disabling comments. You're so soft. And you make excuses constantly. Oh, we still in the driver's seat. Driver's seat? You have the audacity to say that? The only driver's seat you're going to be in is that LAX driving to your fucking house, you loser. Excuses on top of excuses. Oh my God, I hate Paul George. I can see it from a mile away. Anyone wants to tell me he played pretty well in this series? No, because whenever he plays well, it seems like Kawhi doesn't get going. In this season, whenever Kawhi and Paul George played, whenever Kawhi had more points than PG, we were 24-9. When PG had more points than the Clot, we were what? I think 10-6. Yeah, that doesn't sound too bad. But the point is, we had this 1A, 1B bullshit. Paul George is done. I want him gone. Because look at what we gave up for him. I knew that was a suspect trade. To trade SGA for this excuse-making, whining bitch. And I hope you watch this, Paul George, because you let down everyone. You let us all down. I hope all of you guys, Lou Williams, Trez, Marcus Morris, all of you are banging your heads to the wall and cannot sleep at night. Because I will never be able to get over this until you get out of the second round. Never. And what makes it even worse is the Lakers are there waiting for us, ridiculing us. You losers. You're such losers. All of you. And you know what? And once again, you act like this group of NBA players are the most entitled, pampered stars, overpaid of any sport ever. You guys are such fucking bitches compared to the old generations of players. You get so much more money than you deserve. I mean, Paul George and Kawhi are making $30+ million a year to choke. And Kawhi didn't even look like he wanted to play at the end. Where's I'm going to go down swinging. I'm going to go down, in a ball of flames. This is my team. Where's the leadership? Where's the leader of men? And you want to be all quiet and shit. I do have sympathy for what happened to Kawhi in his life. I do. Truly do. But that's inexcusable. So I don't give a shit what you did in Canada. I give none. You quit on us. And Paul George, you just suck, period. You have no confidence. You have horrible decision making. You constantly chuck threes in the worst times. You're just a loser. Patrick Beverley, I really like you, dude. Patrick Beverley, JaMychal Green, Montrezl Harrell, and Shamet are the only people that can walk out with their heads held high. And Zubats. All of you can. And I really want to see, and here's the thing about Kawhi Leonard. We won't be able to win a championship without him. I still want him back. But I ain't rooting for you until you get out of the second round. I'm neutral. I will root for you know what? Honestly, if Cock Rivers is going to stay in charge, Glenn Rivers, I want the team to lose till he goes. And you know what? This was the last straw for me, man. This was the last straw for me and caring. Because every single time I don't want to care about basketball anymore because the Clippers hurt me too much, I stop. I mean, I get, I'm sorry, I don't stop. I get something that pushes me in that right direction to keep wanting it to happen, to keep caring, to keep having faith. And that was last season. I would rather be a Charlotte Hornets fan, a Knicks fan. I'd rather be any fan than a Clipper fan. Because no matter what, we're minorities in the city. And if we do not win, it's a lose-lose situation either way. We need to win it all or else it's a joke. And I prefer when we were just the little brother who always didn't make the playoffs, who had no expectations. Because then my expectations don't get high. I have this optimism. I have this, we always suck, but maybe one day we'll be good. Now, there's nothing worse than this. Nothing. We are now the laughingstock of the league. Kawhi Leonard, you are a disgrace for that. And Paul George, you're an even bigger disgrace. Marcus Morris, dude, I really liked you, man. 5 open threes missed and all the shit you wanted to talk. I hope you are getting every earful from it. But I know you guys, you're going to just go back to your mansions and turn off your social medias and hide from it. I hope you guys feel miserable about it. And guess what? I'm done because that's it for the season. That's it for me caring. And you know what? At this point forward, I am going to be I'm not going anywhere. You thought I was dipping. I'm not going anywhere. Because you know what? I love this team. I love the Clippers, and I'm never going anywhere. I've put up with too much shit to walk away now. You know what? Unlike you, I ain't some bitches. I'm going to stay here because this is the team I fell in love with as a kid. And when we win a championship, or if we win a championship before I die, if we win before I die, it will be not only maybe the greatest moment of my life, it will be better than any championship any franchise has ever won in any American sport, man. It will be worth all this misery. But I'm starting to think it may not even be with this team. If you guys do not fire Glenn Rivers, there's going to be problems. And I swear I will rally up Clipper Nation. I will do something about it. You are not going to find me just sitting here. Kawhi Leonard, you quit. And if you want me to apologize, I will apologize if they make it past the second round. Then I'll get behind the team again. Until then, you guys are a bunch of losers. I'm a fan of the Clippers, but right now, I couldn't give two fucks because of what you guys did to me. Making me miserable, man. Making me miserable. And every other Clipper fan. I speak for a lot of Clipper fans here because I know they feel the same way I do. You guys embarrassed us. You didn't even try. The same thing over and over again. Why don't you go to the basket? 0 free throw attempts, Kawhi? 0. I know they weren't giving you calls. Why don't you get a technical? Why don't you get mad? Show that you care about this franchise. Show that you care about the fans. We're watching. You're not above the team. None of you are. I really hope you can never live with yourselves for the rest of this ever again, honestly, until you win a championship for us. Because until then, you're no better than Chris and Blake. I love Chris and Blake. I don't not fuck with these guys because they quit on us, and Chris and Blake never did. They may have choked, but they didn't give up and say nonsense after the game. Like you don't even care. You ain't playing for you. I'm done. And I'm taking a break, too, from basketball for a while because I don't really want to watch this shit anymore. Period.